السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد आज का सबक सुन लीजिए.
Let us listen to the Aaj Ka Sabaq, which is delivered daily by Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Yunus, the son of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Umar Palnpuri Rahmatullahi alayh. Lesson number 830. In the hadith we understand that we are being told that, O son of Adam, O human beings, O the progeny of Adam, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your good times, in your happy times, in your joyous times. Then when you are in difficulty, when you are in hardship, thereafter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. Make the ibadat of Allah, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, fulfill the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the good times, in the difficult, in the problematic, in the hard times of your life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will assist you. To understand this, let us look at the life of Yunus alayhi salam. When the whale had swallowed him, he was neither injured nor was his bones broken, nor was he in any way in any physical difficulty or anything of that sort. But when he was in the stomach of the whale, he thought that perhaps I've left this world and I'm now in the qabr and I'm no more alive. But thereafter, when he seen that his hands are moving, his feet is moving, then he realized, no, it cannot be. Rather, it is that I am alive, but I'm in the stomach of a whale. So when this thought came to his mind, then he said, and he immediately got up and he started making salah. And when he made salah, he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, oh Allah, I've made the same masjid. Perhaps no one before me and perhaps no one after me will have the capacity to make the stomach of a whale a masjid. And I am doing so, oh Allah, to please you and that you may be happy with me. Whether Yunus alayhi salam was in the stomach of the whale for 3 days or 7 days or 40 days or a day, or even if it was just for a night, Maulana Yunus Palnpuri Damat Barakatuhum, he had summarized the different narrations for us. And he says, whatever the time was where he was in the stomach of the whale, at that time he worshipped Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he was there, he would always, one habit of Yunus alayhi salam is that he would remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even in his happy and his joyous occasions. So when he was in a difficulty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remembered Yunus alayhi salam. And thereafter he made a dua. And the dua that he made was, La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. After he had made that dua, thereafter that dua went and it went around the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it started singing the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When that happened, the angel said, oh Allah, this voice is something which is very, very far from us, but it's a very, very familiar voice. So thereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels, listen carefully. If you listen carefully, you might recognize the voice. They tried, they listened, but they couldn't. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is my servant Yunus. And thereafter they said, oh Allah, Yunus alayhi salam, his voice is so familiar, we would recognize it because of the amount of times that Yunus alayhi salam would remember you. Now he is in a difficulty, oh Allah, you assist him. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded that Yunus alayhi salam be taken out of the stomach of the whale, and the whale was commanded to put Yunus alayhi salam on the shore. Because of his weakness and because of the amount of time he was in the stomach of the whale, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded one of the goats to come, and the goat came and gave Yunus alayhi salam milk daily. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded a pumpkin plantation around there, whereby Yunus alayhi salam was able to partake, and Yunus alayhi salam was able to make that particular dua. This entire incident of Yunus alayhi salam is mentioned in Tafsir Ibn Kathir in the 4th volume. So for each one of us, if we need to make a habit of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and communicating with Him and worshipping Him and obeying Him in the best of times. In the most difficult of times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will assist us, Allah will help us, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take us out of our difficulty. Now let us make the dua that Yunus alayhi salam made. La ilaha illa anta subhanak inni kuntu min al-zalimin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us out of our difficulty. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take us out of our problems. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help each one that is in any sort of problems. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in our happy times. Ameen, ameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.